Sorry for the last video also, I did not open the recorder at time, but now I have opened it. From this point onwards, we'll try to make sure that all the recordings are available. So for the assignment, the work is, whatever class videos I have created, I have kept them in their corresponding YouTube playlist. So please go through those videos one after the other. When a slide comes in, please note down whatever is written in that slide, as well as what you have understood beyond that particular text from my wordings, from my voice. So it will make you to understand the slides in a better way, and it will make you to practice in the much profound way. So please, while listening to the videos, make a habit of keeping a text notebook with you and try to write down whatever is there in this slide, and also what points you have understood from the voice that is embedded in the video. Is it about the assignment? And the same, take pics of those things, put it as a PDF, and try to attach it back into our Google Classroom. So I'll be checking who has submitted and who has not submitted. I have kept the deadline as Sundays till finish of Sunday. That is night 12 o'clock. You can view all those videos once again, and you can try to write it and send it back to me. And this is for both the shifts, 1 and 2, of all these subjects. Fine. Okay, are there any other doubts? Till now, 23 members have joined. Are there any other doubts? Good. So let's move ahead from that point and go into next slides. So we were discussing about this particular slide, and we have come to a conclusion that these are various tags that are used for heading tags. There are 6 tags in it, H1 to H6, describing about the levels of headings. Then there is a paragraph tag, which will try to introduce a paragraph notation to our text. Inside the paragraph, I have used few other tags which can be used apart from the paragraph, also outside of the paragraph also. One is strong, which will make the text to appear in bold. That is not lengthwise increased, it's widthwise increased, thickening of text. Then we have got something called as embossed, EM, which is going to make the text to appear in italics format. Then we have got a break tag, which will make the browser to make whatever is coming next to it, that is this line, to appear in the next line onwards. It will not be mixed with the above line. And we have also discussed about the anchor tag. Anchor tag is used for creating hyperlinks or links to other web pages. Here, anchor tag will have one attribute associated with it. And one important point to be noted is whatever attributes and their values you are going to write, they are to be used only in the opening tag. In the closing tag, you will not have any attributes added on. So in the opening tag, you will keep the name of the tag A for anchor, then a space, then the attribute name. Over here, H reference is the attribute name. And whatever I have kept in double quotes after equal to is the value for that attribute. So whenever this hyperlink is the word, or suppose click me is the word written there, when we click it, it will make our browser to open another page or browse another web page, and that address of that web page that is to be browsed is mentioned over here as the value of the H reference. So we have discussed about paragraph tag. It can also have an attribute called as style to give some coloring effect or some styling effect for our text that is to be appeared in the paragraph. So to apply this style, we'll say style as the attribute name and then equal to, then in double quotes. There are various types of styles, like you can set the background of the text, you can set the color of the text, you can highlight the text, all those styles. But out of which I want text coloring. So we have got color red. One important point to be noted here is English is very weird. If you write color in normal English that we have learned from school days, it was COLOUR. That was color in British English. Now this color in US English is COLOR. So whatever language you are going to write now, you are going to have the accent of US standards. So please make sure that color you are writing it in color as COLOR only, not COLOUR. Color colon, then what is the color that you want to keep? Red. Red is a keyword which is understood by the browser that whatever color we are trying to keep is to be kept in red color. Similarly, there are thousands and millions of colors. These thousands of colors have certain tag names to it with a hash coding style. We'll see all those hash coding styles later on, but it's there. There may be reserved words or there may be hash coded words. Then, not just in paragraph, we can apply this styling to a span also. So, over here, I have applied this span as the color as green. And to introduce a listing, bulleting listings, like for example, what I have kept over here, you can see this is one bullet mark. Here also square bullet marks are there. So these are bulletins. Not just bulletins, you need certain listing of 1 to 3 also. Numerical 1 to 3 or Roman number 8, 1 to 3 or ABCD so on. With sequencing will be followed. To have that sequencing, we need to make use of list tags. These list tags are of two categories. Ordered, which will contain only bullets, ordered, which will contain a sequence of 1 to 3, Roman number 1 to 3, or ABCD. So, if I want unordered list, I'll just mention UL, unordered list, as the opening and closing tag. How many number of bullet listings you want, items you want, those many li tags will be coming. Here only one I have kept, so only one list will be coming. If you want to mention 5-6 items inside it, you need to keep all those 5-6 items in 5 or 6 li tags, one after the other. Same way, if you want to have ordered list, then you need to use ol. How to change that ordered list, all those things we'll see in programs. Don't worry about it. Then if you want to have a table to be introduced, then you know that table is composed of rows and columns. To define a table, we'll make use of table tag, and to close the table, we'll use a closing tag of table. Now for each row, we'll, instead of columns, we'll call them as cells. So for first row, how many cells you want? I have written only one TD over here, table data. So that will have only one cell inside it. So altogether in this table, there is one row and there is one cell. If you want multiple rows, one more set of TR tags are to be used. If you want within that one row multiple types of cells, then you will use two or more TT tags, table data tags. Much similar to paragraph and span, we have got something called as div tag, which is used for mainly dividing the whole web page into sections. So this div tag is very important because in some part of the web page I want to give a different color. For some part of the web page I want to give a different background color. For some part of the web page I want to give a different styling. To have that sectioning of the web page, we'll use div tag. To identify which part of the web page I'm going to give different colors, we'll be using an attribute called as class, which is similar to that of style. Now for this class, we'll try to define a particular definition, what type of style is to be applied, what type of settings are to be applied. So we'll use some name over here, which will specify, okay, what are the, for example, here I have written left column. Can you see this one? Left column. This is the name of the set of styles to be attached to this div. So div, we are attaching it to div tag, and the name of the class that we are applying is left column. And what is the style that we are applying? The width of the column should be so and so 350 pixels. Height of the division should be 600 pixels. Margin of top should be 20 pixels. Border should be 1 pixel solid. So all these things we will learn when we come across CSS. I have introduced this, but I have kept this slide just to give you a glimpse of what we are going to learn further. I hope till here is it clear? Okay, Ravi Kishore has responded. No, it's clear. For all, it's clear now. Okay, let's move to another part of our unit. This is very simple, and I'm just going to keep the chat box closed here. What are these steps for building, launching, and maintaining of a website? Whenever we want to create any website, we need to keep these steps in our mind. The first step is to learn. Second is to plan. Third one is to design. Fourth is to code. Fifth is to launch. And sixth is to maintain. These six steps are needed because first thing, whenever you want to create any website, you will try to first learn what is the website meant for. Okay, you want to create a website for student portal, for student community. Fine. Then you will try to learn or explore, are there any other websites of similar nature? Okay, what are they? What are their main contents being placed over there? How many web pages they are going to contain? You are trying to learn and research what is to be done. That means you are creating a brief of what website is going to be looking like. Then, once you have learned that there are various websites of so and so nature, and some features you are very interested in, you want those features back in your website, you have now you are moving into planning phase. Okay, my website should contain so photos, it should contain so and so slides, it should contain so and so content, it should contain the students login register, it should contain student marks to be embedded inside it, it should be ranking, all those things. Now you are trying to have a plan of what your website is going to contain. So normally you are making a sketching or mock-up of your entire website. You are planning here. Now once that plan is there in your mind, you're trying to put it back into paper so that you can share it with others and discuss more about each and everything. You will try to put it all in a diagrammatic format so that others can also discuss about it and try to make some adjustments so that your plan looks practically implicable. So when it is implementable, you're trying to move from designing from sketch to actually trying to put it into coding format, that is software development, web development format. So you will try to put it into code. You'll use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you'll use XML, and so forth, server-side scripting technologies, and you'll write the entire code for the website. Then once the code is available with you, the website, in order to be running 24 by 7, you cannot put it on your laptop and say that the website will be running. because for the website, it should have a unique name throughout the world. It should have a URL address. It should have the system that is capable enough to handle all the requests. And there are many constraints which you need. So for all those reasons, you cannot use your personal system as a website directory web server, because you need to purchase the web server also. It's very costly, and you need to make use of various technologies which are not free of cost. So for that reason, we'll try to hire a space on the rental basis from various other companies which are going to make our website to be launched on. So we'll try to see what are the various companies that are giving us offers. Possible manner, we'll try to detect which is the best suited for us when we will try to launch our website on their platform. And once our website is available online on through their platform, we'll try to see that any changes or updations that are required can be done using the maintenance phase. So I hope uh, just the 6 steps are clear in your mind. The first step is learn, where you are going to make a research how many different such type of websites are going to contain, and what is your main ambition of the website. Then you will try to plan based on various research inputs. You will try to take certain inputs from various different websites. You will take certain patterns from them, and you will try to plan your website. And once the plan is available in your mind, you will try to put it into a diagrammatic format, into a pictorial overview, so that you can get a glimpse of what your website is going to look like. Once you have done with the plan and design, as per the design, you will try to code it back into a programmatic format. Once the programs are ready, you'll try to make use of certain online platforms where you can keep your code, and that code will be running 24 by 7 all the year. And then if any changes are to be done, you will make use of maintenance phase. So same thing, I have kept whatever I have discussed here in the diagram, I have kept it in the theoretical points. Please go through them. So what are those to be done? I have kept a brief overview of it. So you can pause the video here and you can go through the rest of the code text what is going to be illustrated. I'm not going to read out all those things one after the other, because whatever was the gist of that, I have explained it in the diagram. One important point to say in the coding is validate and test. This validate and test is important because when we want to say that our website should be available internationally online, before we put it online, we should make sure that whatever we have written the code, it's going to work 100% correctly throughout the time. So when I want to say that my code is going to work 100% correctly throughout the time as per the standards, international standards, I need to validate it. Is it as per the standards defined in the international industry? And I need to test its response time based on various testing procedures. So Google is one of the companies which has given us a set of tools to validate and test our website before we actually make it available online. So that's one point that I wanted to keep over here. Then launching maintenance, it's very simple. So there was one, since we need to go through our curriculum also topic by topic, there was one point that was asking us what is the importance of HTML and its applications. So now that with this previous slides that we have discussed, you might have come to know that why HTML is used. It's mainly used for developing web pages. Now, is HTML only meant for developing of web pages? Are there any other uses of it? Yes, there are. HTML is not just meant for web development. It's a language. It's a language which will interact with the web browser and make the web browser to display certain output for us. Using HTML, many of these scientific big books have been written in a format called as compiled HTML format. This compiled HTML format textbooks are soft copies just like PDFs, but their size will be very small than that of PDF also. If you create any document using MS Word, the size of the document once saved will be like, for example, X. Once you convert it into PDF, it compresses the code and it will make it lesser than X size. Now, if you try to compare the .chem CHM, which is HTML used, it will be almost half of that of PDF also. So you can understand how much small size it will take to create the textbooks and save it inside our computers. Not just that, there are various other reasons why we'll be learning HTML. Okay, so uh, just for a brief, I have kept few of the points over here. You can go through them. But the main purpose of HTML is to create the web applications. But nowadays, it's not just used for web applications. Even in the Android mobiles, certain applications, can say the calendar or calculator or certain type of applications are being created using HTML language only. So it has moved from just web development to application development also. So there are various applications of it. Just go through them. The one that I was talking about is this .chm extension, but it will be very simple in look and feel, and it will be very easy to understand. Moving next from here, we'll try to understand few of the HTML tags. We have discussed a bigger component of HTML till now, but what is HTML's full form? I said it earlier as hypertext markup language. Why do we call it as hypertext markup language? Let me dig it out. Language, L is for language. Language is over here used because we want to interact with our computer. So we want a computer understandable format or language. That's why we are using language over here. Now what is markup? The word markup is very similar to make up. Make up in the sense, though it sounds very funny, but it's actually for a plain text, you're trying to keep some beautification to it, some markings to it, so that that markings gives a attractive look and feel to the plain and dummy stuff. So that's why we have a something called as markup. Markup is what you do to with the text. You will apply certain style to it. You will apply certain meaning to that text. You will apply certain attractive look and feel to that text. Like for example, for headings, if all the headings are written as a plain text, can you distinguish them as heading and can you understand what is falling under what type of heading? No, you need to make it certain bold, you need to make it certain thickening of text and little height, increasement of height, all those effects. So those are called as markups. Now text is self-explanatory, we are applying all the markups to the text. Now it is called as hyper. Hyper means sometimes you will have certain of your friends who will become very annoyed if you try to make jokes on them. They will be very sensitive and they will feel a lot if we try to make certain jokes. For even a slight joke, we call them as hypersensitive. Same way, hyper is the English word which is opposite to linear. Linear means something which never changes irrespective of whatever we do to it. But hyper is going to make a change based on what markups we are going to make. It is not going to keep the text as it is. It is going to make a effect of marking up to actually be revealed. So it will try to say what is the effect, and it will hyperact based on that markups. So this was the actual meaning of what is HTML. Now, what is the difference between an element and what is the difference between a tag? It's very simple. Let's first learn about tags. Tags are labels to make any markup effect on our text or image. Tags are labels that are used to make markups on our text or any content on the web page. And these tags are written in lesser than and greater than symbol, which we call them as guillemets. And there will be two types of tags. One is opening tag and second is the closing tag. For example, we have used the HTML, which is opening tag, and the closing tag is identified by using a forward slash. Within the opening tag and the closing tag, whatever we write, including the opening and the closing tags, this whole section is called as an element. The matter that we write along with the opening and the closing tag is called as the element. Over here it is HTML element. But when I say tag, it's only a part of the element. It will not contain what is being kept inside it. But here, there are certain tags which will not contain any data inside them. It will not contain any content inside them. So those tags are called as self-closing tags, like we have seen the BR tag. For example, here BR. Now this is the closing tag I have written here. There in the above case in the previous slide, I kept only the opening tag. You can use any of it. But nowadays standards are being followed that we'll use only the opening tag, but you can use even the closing tag also for BR. But only one thing you have to write, either the opening or the closing one. Okay, now one more thing. When we write tags and certain content in between those tags, just to make these tags look while reading the program to look somewhat different from the normal content, we'll try to make them as uppercase, but it is not compulsory, it's not mandatory. You can write the tags as you wish. You can write HTML, you can write the HTML in this style, you can write in a mixed format also. Browsers can understand them pretty well. There is no problem. But just as a standard, as a good programmer's practice, we'll try to keep them in capital letters, capital case or uppercase, but it's not mandatory. Now, first example we'll see and then we'll try to close our class. We want this particular code to be written. You can see that previously I was trying to work on my text job and I created my first web page which is containing a text to be displayed. This is my first home page and there is one more text which is telling that this text is in bold, which itself is coming in bold. So in order to create this web page, what is to be done? Let's see, it's a small part. HTML, and I need a title to be displayed in the tab. Now for this title to come, I'll write it in title tag, title opening and a closing tag. Now I don't want any meta tags, I don't want any search engine optimization techniques, I don't want any UTF, I don't want any translation effects. I want to simply write a scratch program. So my head is finished now. Now in the body, I have got this line to be displayed containing two sentences. First sentence, I am not going to apply any marking to it. It's a plain text. So I have not used any type of tag to it. Now For the other one, it should appear in bold. So I have used one B tag here. There in the previous slide, we have learned similar type of tag called as strong tag. Both are very much similar. They give the same marking effect. There is no much difference. And I have closed my body. And here, if you observe, I have not closed HTML. In fact, if I don't close also, the web browser can interpret it as a HTML program. There is no problem. Even if I don't write HTML also, the browser is going to interpret it as a HTML program by default. But it's a good practice to always close it down. Okay. So that's why I have kept the closing part also. So from now onwards, I don't expect you to omit or escape writing this particular tags. You have to write those tags. So whatever you have written here is just skeleton. Skeleton in the sense you are just writing it but without making any coloring or some background effect to it. So few descriptions about the tags that we have used here. I have kept them as text for you to better understand it, but it's all there when we were discussing. Okay. Now, one more program that I have kept. You can see over here there are headings over here. This is the heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6. As I told you earlier that H1 to H6 there are heading tags, and these heading tags will have different heights and widths. You can see the difference that is coming in. So 1, 2, 3, they are little bigger than the normal text. 4, 5, 6, there are 4 and 5, they are almost similar to the normal text, but from 5 onwards, they are lesser than the normal text. To create this one, what is the code required? First thing, you have to write everything in HTML tag. So we will have a heading over here. My first web page is to be written so that can be kept only in the heading. So title is my first web page. I have closed my head. Now, what is displayed here is the body part. Now, body part has started. The first heading I have kept in H1 tag. Second should be kept in H2 tag. Similarly, H3 tag, H4 tag, H5, H6, and then the closing of body, and then the closing of HTML. So, I hope you have understood with this particular part. Regarding its attributes. Now, if you see all these headings are starting from left corner margin, from top to bottom. If you want to align the text to a different format, then you can use align as the attribute. Just in the opening tag, beside H1, give a space and then write the keyword align as the attribute name. Keep a equal to sign, then in double quotes, you can specify either left, which is by default, or if you want everything to appear in the center of the web page, then you can use center, or you can make them to appear right aligned. That means at the right margin, every text will be aligned in one single line, or justify means at both the ends, it will try to appear in the same format, same way. Okay, so that will be aligned. So now our class is going to end within 5 minutes. So I hope till now whatever we have discussed is clear to everyone. So we will close this class now. As no one is raising doubts, let's finish with this class. I will try to have our next class tomorrow. Lavanya, you are joining now. As I said earlier, I don't want to repeat it, but you all know that I'm going to monitor the attendance through the WebEx portal, which is automated. So when you are joining, when you are leaving, is all noted down. Please make sure you are joining at appropriate time and you are leaving at appropriate time. So it's all up to you. No, it's not mandatory to have all six at a time. You can have any of it. You can give one, two, three, whatever you wish. Just there are six tags, just to give a how they differ, to give you a glimpse. What is the actual difference between H1 till H6? I have kept in six at a time. But it all depends on your ideology, which one you want to use. Any other? Any other doubt? Okay, bye everyone.